So, hello everybody, here we're back with Ran, and this is now the end of turn 1, and as you remember at the last turn we had shock combat here, and the Fukubara received two cohesion hits, but seeing as they were inflicted due to position superiority by the Amako clan, these hits were doubled. Now, something that is in the rules and pertains to shock combat but does not occur in the rules at the shock combat section, which I think is a bit strange, is that if you during shock combat receive at least twice as many cohesion hits as your opponent, regardless of whether you're defending or attacking, you have to withdraw 1 hex. So these guys actually need to withdraw 1 hex, which they do. During this withdrawal, they have to maintain their facing, which they do. But then, as a result, these guys need to advance. So I decide which of these two gets to advance. And here we have infantry, and here we have samurai infantry, and we will have them advance in here. So basically now, this is what the battlefield should have looked like after the last round, the last turn. So now, seeing as these guys had to withdraw, they are not engaged in combat anymore, in shock combat. Now, engagement is important. It's a concept which means that if you're engaged, there are a couple of things that cannot happen to you. You cannot be fired upon, for example, which I find a bit odd, but that's the way it is. And also it means that if you're engaged in combat, you are always active. And now we come to the rule that I kind of hinted upon last time. It is to do with the question of how do we determine if somebody is active or not. So, we said at the very beginning, in the first turn, each Sotaisho has a number of contingents that he can activate. And then there is the rule that if you are within a certain distance from an enemy unit, you will be automatically activated. So, the rule is a bit involved, in my opinion. And it goes like this. Activation status is determined anew in each player's activation phase. So this would be the phase that we're facing now. First of all, contingents adjacent to enemy units are active. So this contingent, Ushio, is active at the beginning of the new turn because one of its members is directly adjacent to an enemy unit. So likewise, the Fukubara are also active. So as a result, this is Yukichi. They are also adjacent. One unit is adjacent to another enemy unit. So as a result, again, these Yokichi warriors are also active. So we know this already. And then we can count even more. All contingents within 2 hexes of an enemy unit are also active. So these guys are 1, 2, 3 away from these units. Now, if this warrior was in this area here, he would be 2 hexes away from an active enemy unit. So all of his contingent would automatically be active at the beginning of the turn. Or this is how I interpret the rules. Like I said, the rules are, probably not the best written. They leave a lot of room for interpretation, but that's okay because I actually like doing this, like thinking for myself. Okay, so basically, if we now start, we have to say that these 3 contingents here are all active. These are inactive, as are these guys. Sorry, that's the wrong marker. They're inactive. They are also inactive. This contingent down here, the Mori, are inactive. The Kikawa are also inactive. Do I not have any other inactive markers? Okay, then I will need some more. So Kikawa is inactive, as is Shishido, as is Sugihaya. And of course, this guy up here is still inactive as well. Oops, there goes the camera. Okay, so we'll have to see how we can place it. I'll have to put it onto something so it's a little higher up. So now we have to determine who gets to go. And the new kitten stole my die. So the new kitten is going to be a Wargamer kitten because her name's Athena, first of all, and also she stole my die. So now we're going to roll. I'm going to roll from Amako first. I roll a 7, and I add to this the initiative, which is 4, so that's 11. And then I roll for Mori, and I roll a 6. Sorry, can you see this? Plus a 4. So basically, Amako goes to get next. Now, Amako has to make a decision which contingents to activate, and he can activate up to 4. So he has already a couple of activated contingents down here. So now he can activate 4 more. And interestingly enough, he has an activation rating of 4, but he only has 3 that are inactive, which is very good. But as we learned, and I almost made this mistake now, it's not the phasing player who gets to activate first, but it's the non-phasing player. Now, Mori can activate up to 5 contingents, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inactive contingents, so he's going to activate them all. So they all become active now, and seeing as none of these active Mori clan members are within 2 hexes of any of these Amako, Amako has to expend all of his activation points in order to activate the 3 additional, or the 3 inactive plans, which we're going to do now. Okay, now next comes the movement and fire phase. So we could ask these guys to fire at these guys, which would lead to reaction fire from the cavalry. So we're going to do this in a minute. We're also going to move a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4 to fire against these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are not attracting return fire from these guys because we're not in their zone of control. So I'm going to zoom in a little. One, 2, 3, and I'm going to change facing 4. 1, 2, 3, change facing 4. 1, 2, change facing 3, 4. Actually, I think no. Actually, one face change is for free. So basically, they could have moved 1 more. So that's fine. So these guys are now going to attack this cavalry. So that's 2 against 1, and they're also attacking them from the flank. So now we have to do a couple of things. We have to think in this phase, would they later on have to make a TQ check to attack? They don't, because they moved in this particular phase, so they don't have to do a TQ check. So no TQ check. This guy is just going to stand here because there's nothing he can attack. So we need to do the firing first. I mean, it's a bit difficult in which order you do it, so that you don't forget people to move. So these guys are going to move south, so they're gonna cross this stream, one, and that's it's a minor river, and we again have +2. No, sorry, this is a stream. That's +1. So 1, 2, 3. They across it. 1, 2, 3, because I have to go up. 1, 2, 3. So, and they're going to change facing. No, actually they won't. They'll just stay here. So then, these guys are going to fire on these guys. These guys are going to engage in shock against these guys. So here we will probably have to check. I'll have to check the oh, hello, there's a little kitten. I think you will have to check for TQ. So I'll have to read up on this. Okay, this guy is now gonna cross this stream, and this guy is also going to cross this stream, and that's all they're going to do. And now I will have to roll for fire up here, and now we've got a little meow. So and now we will have to, I will have to stop here because Athena is going to join me, and she wants to really tour the battlefield, and I'll have to keep her from it. Okay, I'll be back.